Okay, نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربنا زدنا علما اللهم فقهنا في الدين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, so yesterday we were discussing something and we did these two ayahs when we said, let me go to my page where we're doing that. Okay. So we were doing these two ayahs where we said that for those whose scales are heavy, they will be in pleasant life. And we haven't finished that yet, but the question that I presented was, these are the good deeds, right? The scales would be heavy means that the weight of deeds, the good deeds is going to be the weight of good deeds is more, their scales are going to be heavy. So the question was, why would we weigh the deeds? Why not count them? And I think I did get a few answers. So the last thing that I said was that, let's say two people, like let's call them A and B. So A and B both donated $100. So the question was, can the weight of the exact same action for both A and B, can it be different? Yes, Riz?
Yeah, it would be because, like you said yesterday in the same question, person A, even though him and person B both gave $100, person A had a grand total of $1,000. So in this case, person B's thing would be more because person B only had $100 and they donated all of that.
Yeah.
But if person A had donated all $1,000, then that would probably be more than just 100.
Yes. So in other words, one of the reasons why the exact same deed could weigh differently are, one of the reasons is circumstances. That Allah knows all of our circumstances better than even we know. So Allah knows how much we are capable of and how much we are doing. Okay, so that was the purpose, no matter what it is. Now, that was just an example of, donating $100. No matter what good deed you're doing, you can think about anything. Like, for example, you are, Riz, you are memorizing Quran. Some other kids are memorizing Quran. Now, Allah can give reward as much as, Allah wills. But the thing is, Allah will reward you according to your capabilities. It's very fascinating to me that those who read Quran with stutter, they are rewarded more. Like, for example, two people, again, let's take an example of two people. They both are reading Quran, they both read one page, but one of them was reading with a stutter, but the other one was reading perfectly. Now, like, in regular, we're going to call the person who read very nicely, was like, MashaAllah, it's so beautiful. But we don't know, the person who was stuttering, he was struggling. Allah rewards those people who struggle, but still continue to do it more than Allah rewards those people who are, not that struggling. So, and this applies to everything, whatever good deed we are doing, it depends on how comfortable we are in doing it. So those who work hard towards a good deed are, of course, rewarded more. Yes, Riz?
Also, I just want to say that the reason that could be the thing that could be the reason for the person who's reading the Quran with a stutter might be because if the person who's reading perfectly, they have no problem, so they could keep on reading.
Exactly.
But the person with a stutter didn't give up.
Yes.
Otherwise, they would have just been, oh, I can't read this. So.
And that was exactly what I was about to say. Provided the condition is that person did not give up. That is the main condition. And yes, mashallah, Sumaya, Sumaya just said that I read Quran struggling and I can't help it. That's true. And that's one of the problems we have here because Arabic is not our language. we start reading with, learning to read and write English. So that's why, we don't develop that, the what we call maharaj, the way that we learn how to say those letters or words. So yeah, a lot of people unfortunately do struggle here more because it's a second language for us. But yeah, keep it up and remember one thing, that your reward is more. That's the only thing that can honestly keep us going. Or other thing, how many things do you leave to come to, that you chose to do something better? Like, for example, you had a choice to play video game at this time. You had a choice to maybe watch TV at that time, but you chose to come here. There were like so many distractions. It depends. People who have a lot and still they chose to do something good during that time, Allah will reward them. So it all depends on Allah. But after all, in spite of everything, our intention, we are not doing it to show off. We are doing it only to please Allah. There are like so many things that can make our deeds heavy. The reason for this discussion is we need to make sure that our deeds are heavy. We don't want to do light deeds. We don't want that. We don't want lighter stuff in our bank. We need heavy stuff. So we need to make sure that we know how our deeds can become heavy in the sight of Allah. And that's where all these things come in. Our intention, we are doing it for Allah's sake. Um, how much sincere we are, how much we want to learn, how much we want to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all these things, how much we struggle, like all these things count into it. So we need to make sure that our deeds count. They matter in our skills. Okay. So that was the main reason to talk about that. And also another thing is that we don't get discouraged. It's so like, amazing that when you see people here in the world, like for example, kids who are bright students, they get awards, right? Those who don't struggle, just like Sumaya is saying that I do struggle while reading Quran. People who don't struggle, who are not struggling, are always in the limelight. They're always put forward. They're always awarded. They're always rewarded. But those who struggle, they're really not rewarded. They just keep on struggling, right? But it is so opposite, that Allah does not reward on the base of results. Allah rewards on the base of effort. All right? This is something that I want you to mark and remember. Allah does not reward on the base of results. Allah rewards on the basis of effort. So nobody is judging anybody. Nobody is watching anybody else. There's no competition going on here. Each one of us is looking at our own deeds, how much effort we are putting in. Everybody's coming to this class, but who's coming prepared? Who's remembering? Who's trying to remember? Who maybe lays down at night and thinks about it? So that depends on, each one of us. Okay, so that is the effort that is going to be rewarded. So our reward can multiply to, I don't know how many times. Same deed that each one of us is doing can be rewarded like multiple folds if we want to, depending on the effort we put in. Okay, awesome. Let's move forward. Bismillah wa amma. And as for man, meaning
Bully?
so we just did it right here. That's why man right
Oh,
here.
whose?
Whose?
I was thinking in Urdu.
Sorry, say that again. Didn't hear you.
Thinking in Urdu.
Oh, okay. Khaffat. Okay, so it's something opposite, right? Hafi. Hafi is something light. Khaffat is our light.
So, and as for whose light scales?
And as for those whose scales are light, so light in weight, not the light of the bulb, okay? Mawazinuhu, his scale.
Scales.
Okay, and as you remember, I said that this is the word that comes from the word wazn, which means weight. We talked about that. Okay, let me write that down. And as for those whose scales are light.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Rohan.
So you're putting scales like as in plural. So does that mean there's multiple scale?
I think probably somebody can confirm with me, but the thing that has two, what do you call, when you compare the weight, it is called scales with a S. But I can double check. That's what I think, that we call it, what is in Urdu we call tarazu, which is, which has two different plates where we can measure. So I think it is called scales. It's not a plural, but it's called scales, probably because it has two. A scale that we use in, nowadays, in the kitchen and everything, that's a scale. But the one that is used, which has two sides, I think it's called scales. I hope it answers. Got it?
Okay.
Okay, so now we're talking about those who have their bad deeds weighing heavier than their good deeds, which means their good deeds are less than their bad deeds. So what will happen to them? فَأُمُّهُ, his abode. Abode means like final destination. Usually we use this word in flights as well, I think. Welcome, welcome aboard, I think. Do we?
They say welcome aboard, no welcome aboard.
Yeah, I think that's different. But yeah, I think it is usually used like, final destination.
They don't say that on flights.
Say that again,
They
Umar?
don't.
They don't say that on flights.
I've recently been on a flight. They don't say that.
They don't
Yeah.
say that? Okay.
They don't say welcome aboard like on flights because I just been to two like recently.
Maybe.
Sometimes they
I
do
did not
say it.
notice for a very long time.
Yeah, sometimes they do say it depending on the person and airline.
Okay. Havia. Will be is kind of in a bracket. So it's not actually there. A pit. Havia is a pit. So I think that's clear. His abode will be, or his final destination will be a pit. Okay, now you will tell me the meaning of this. Vama adraka ma hiya. Vama meaning?
And
Yes.
for
And those?
No, ma is not for here. Ma is, so ma has different meanings, but for is like usually for amma. Ma is like for a question here.
For those?
And
what?
What?
And what?
And what? Adraka
Makes you know.
makes you know. Good job, Omar. Okay, ma. Same thing. Ma here is what? Again, ma means what?
And oh, what? Oh,
Here means it is. Okay, question. And what makes you know what it is or what is it? Okay. Okay, and remember, I think I said last time that whenever Allah says this, what makes you know? Right away, Allah answers. Allah asks the question. You don't even know what it is. What makes you think? What makes you know what it is? And then Allah immediately answers. So here is the answer from Allah. Nar. What is nar? Come on, that also came before. I think we just did it. Forgot which surah, but I think we did that. No one remembers? Nar.
Fire.
Fire. Yes, good job.
I just my Surah was on the same page when I was looking at it.
Okay. Hamia. Hamia means intensely hot. Okay. So
Wait, so what would be the sentence for that last one?
intensely
Intense.
hot, intensely hot fire.
Oh yeah.
Really hot fire. Okay. So those whose scales are, and as for those whose scales are light, they will end up in a pit. And what is that pit? Intensely hot fire. Something that is very, very deep down. I think last time we did some definition of the hellfire, which was like their columns are going to be so tall. The crusher, that's right. Here we talked about it, that how the columns are going to be so high and how it's going to be so deep. And as if even if people want to come out, nobody will be able to come out. And now there's another definition that it's going to be filled with fire. Whenever we read these ayahs about the hellfire, we always make dua, may Allah save us from it. Say Ameen. And the Arabic of this dua is Allahumma ajirna minan nar. Oh Allah, save us from the fire. Okay, so always remember to say this dua whenever you read about Jahannam. This is not something which we can just casually read and move. This is something very, very scary and very, very serious. Not a joke at all, since Allah is telling us again and again about it. So we need to be utmost careful that we save ourselves from this. I think I remember something some scholar said that I think somebody asked him that, what if all this is not correct? What if you end up on the day of judgment and there is no hellfire? So he said, well, at least it is better that, at least I'm in a better position that what if I end up getting up on the day of judgment and there is hellfire. So yes, Sumaya, sure. I can, I am going to send that dua to you, okay? It is, let me write down here. Allahumma ajirna minan nar. So that's kind of a, but let me write down. I actually don't have my pen, which I can just write down. I have no quite. But yeah, I cannot write down Arabic on this, or maybe I can. Let me see. Okay, let me see if I can. It's going to be horrible, but let's see. I'm going to try to write it down.
Do you have like the Windows thing, like where you can change your keyboard and I'll write in a different language?
Yes, I can. It's just that it takes me so much time finding out the letters that, it gets, it, it gets very difficult.
I can help you. I have a keyboard that shows me like which letters, so I can tell you which
Also,
letters.
most of the time, what I've seen is that when it's a dua, you don't have to get it exactly in Arabic. Like sometimes you could do it in like English too.
Yes.
So like
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Duas can be done in any language, whichever language you think you're comfortable with, you can do it. It's just that one thing, which probably what I have seen is that the duas that you find in the Sunnah, like what I mean by that is that what Prophet Muhammad has made the duas, which are of course in Arabic, right? Those duas are very, very short, and as if in very less words he has asked a lot. And that was the thing, that Prophet Muhammad was not just chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without a reason. There was a reason why he was the one who was chosen as a prophet. And one of the reasons was that he was extremely eloquent. He knew what to ask for. I mean, sometimes you read that dua and you'll be like so amazed that, he just asked for everything. Like the best dua that I see, Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'an wa rizqan tayyiban wa amalan mutaqabbala. You ask for knowledge, you ask for good deeds, what else? And you ask for provisions. So these three things, like as if your entire life has been covered. So those duas are sometimes very important because we spend an hour to make dua, and with those duas, it seemed like in just few minutes he asked a lot. So those are really, really beautiful duas, and inshallah sometime when we'll probably start doing translation of those duas as well, whenever we get time. So okay, alhamdulillah, we finished this surah. So nice, mashallah, Rohan, good job. Let me see if I can copy it and write down here. I think I can copy and paste.
yeah, that would I don't think that actually would work. I've tried before with Zoom, but it might happen in the new updates. Not sure.
Let me
I
see.
do remember like a year ago you couldn't.
There you go. I got it right here. Thanks, Rohan. That's the dua. Okay. So what we learned here is that on the day of judgment, we talked about the loud sound. We talked about how the mountains will be like fluffed up cotton and people will be like moths. So imagine the mountains who cannot be moved will be moving like cotton, but the deeds that we do not even think that where did they go, those deeds will be right there in front of us. So the things that we think are a big reality, they're right in front of us. They're not going to be a reality on the day of judgment. Riz, do you want to add something?
Just the fact that it's also 6:33 and the meeting's gonna end. Yeah.
Sorry, you went too fast. Say that again.
I said it's 6:34 now and the
Yep.
meeting's about to end.
Oh, yes.
So,
Yeah, I also got a notice from Zoom that I have very less time left on this call. Okay, so Jazakallah khair, everyone. Yeah, I think we finished the surah. We don't have to do it tomorrow, anything tomorrow. What do you guys think?
New surah tomorrow.
All right, so let's see. We can start with surah tomorrow. We'll start Takathur. Okay, just remember that we're going to start Surah Takathur. So I want all of you prepared with your Quran books where Surah Takathur is. Got it?
Okay.
Okay, awesome. Inshallah, I'm going to see you all tomorrow. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.